Hello, and welcome to the Gaia update for the Pisces Full Moon that's happening on September 14th, 2019. I'm Adrienne Elise. This is a powerful Pisces full moon because leading up to this full moon, we have a ton of mutable square energy. And Pisces is a mutable sign, and all of our personal planets are in the opposite sign, mutable sign of Virgo. And one by one, these personal planets, which was first the moon, then Venus, then the sun, Mercury, and Mars, all moving into this square, highlighting the 2019 astrology, which is Jupiter in Sagittarius in square to Neptune in Pisces, both mutable signs. So mutable signs are about adjusting and changing and assimilating. And this is a massive process that we're in right now, speaking to the intense activation that has been the astrology of 2019. And we're trying to figure it out, but right now we're still in way too much flux. But this energy will be culminating at this Pisces full moon. Just after this full moon, Jupiter in Sagittarius will come up to its third and final exact square with Neptune in Pisces. And this has started, the very first time these planets came into this square was in January of 2019, and then again in June. So this third and final pass is where we're going to get the nugget of truth, or the activation completion, or perhaps maybe a little bit of understanding about what has been going on for this whole year of 2019. So leading up to this Pisces full moon, where the moon will come in. So the moon for this full moon will be very close to Neptune. And so the full moon is activating this T-square. And before this full moon, every single planet of our personal planets has come into this T-square, teeing up our future. And yet, in the mutable signs, we're really confused about our past, about where we're going, and about who we are. And so it's just this incredible mix of energies where mutable energies are like mixing the pot, and where we go, nobody knows, right? And so we have to look at this Pisces full moon as a culmination energy of all of this mutable energy of 2019. So Jupiter in Sagittarius is about a desire at home in Sagittarius, is about a desire for meaning and purpose in life, a bigger meaning and purpose, something grander and wider to learn, share, and work towards. This has been something that so many souls feel disconnected from, and this is because of traumas that have occurred in past lives, and all of this is, and this life as well, keeping us in survival mode, just barely making it through. And when we're in survival mode, we can't reach out to those bigger, wider truths, that path, that expression of something greater in our life. And yet it's inside of us, yearning and demanding to be revealed. And yet we don't really know who we are or what that is. And this 2019 astrology has all been about first of all, facing these feelings, deep subconscious feelings of this lack, this confusion, this emptiness in our life, so that we can fix it. And this bringing this to the surface, this deep desire that may have been programmed out of our reality to live our purpose and get on our true path and start to get to work on the projects we really want to get to work on. Now, that is an energy that's trying to come out of this mutable confusion, because Saturn in Capricorn also at home, right? So this square is Jupiter at home in Sagittarius, in square to Neptune at home in Pisces. Now, Saturn is also at home in Capricorn. And Saturn in Capricorn says, let's do something, let's get to work, let's build something, let's work at something step by step. And so Saturn turns direct on the 18th of September, a few days after this full moon. And it's saying it's time to get out of the mud, the wallowing of the mutable confusion and start to plot away, get to work, right? And so many of these anxieties of not doing what we're here to do, or not feeling like we know who we are or what it is we're supposed to do, and yet still this feeling that there's something we need to do, those feelings ease up when we're feeling like we're moving towards a goal. We don't have to accomplish the goal. We don't even have to know exactly what it is. We just take one step forward on that path, and there's space made in our life. And our focus goes into that rather than all of the problems and issues and blockages. That's kind of where we've been for the last couple of years. So we're trying to move out of this, but before we do, we have a big culmination of this energy. And so as these T-squares happen leading up to this full moon, it's just one after another teeing up, these personal planets weighing in. Venus is saying, hey, you know, like, do you really deserve? Do you really get to have? You know, what if everything that's blocking you has to do with where you bought in to the fact that you're not good enough to receive, or not worthy of your very own gifts, very own spiritual gifts that you've worked on for many lifetimes and evolutions, and failures, regrets from past lives just seeping up to the surface out of nowhere, with a debilitating heaviness, you know, coming with that. Then we've got Mercury, and Mercury is our mind, our just desire to have things make sense and have direction. But in this mutable energy, Mercury is going in circles, stirring up the mud, trying to figure out where to go, bringing us back to the Mercury retrograde that happened in July at the end degrees of Cancer, bringing up vulnerabilities, all of, you know, that Venus and Mercury together. So Venus and Mercury are together for this full moon. They have an exact conjunction on the 13th. So it's an overlap of these issues. Confusion about where we're going and who we are and what we're doing because of low self-worth that's kept us from feeling worthy of knowing where we're going, you know? And these are just, seeping up to the surface. But Virgo, all these planets on Virgo, wants us to sort it out, clean it up once and for all. And there is a finality energy to this full moon in Pisces. Full moons in general are a culmination energy. And this Pisces energy is like, whoa, we are really trying to move out of that Piscean age. And so the Neptune at home in Pisces is kind of about completing the energy and the distortions of the Piscean age so we can reprogram and move into something new and different. But those patterns are 2,000 years old and they're really stuck, you know? And so we just have to keep going back into this. But this Pisces full moon coming right after this massive activation, this teeing up, this kind of circling around in order to try to get some clarity, means that this full moon is illuminating all of the things that have been keeping us in the past. And, you know, it's like we've been sorting, going through layers, and people are like, well, when is this karmic clearing? You know, when do we ever get anywhere with this? It just seems like we keep going into the past, like clearing. But really what's been happening is levels. We can only handle so much at a time, right? A lot of our karmic purge that's been happening is because as souls, we weren't quite ready to face and deal with and sort through this intensity. And now we are. So we've been getting deeper and deeper, and now we're going to the place, to the depths of our subconscious, where these programmings are held, because these mutable signs want us to adjust our thinking. And Neptune in Pisces, so going back to the square, we got Jupiter in Sagittarius, that desire for a more meaningful life and a life of purpose. And then we've got this Neptune in Pisces, which represents our dreams and our connection to something greater as a feeling of the oneness consciousness, but also the delusions that have been programmed into our reality around these concepts. And that has everything to do, coming back around to whether or not we deserve, right? Whether or not we deserve God's love or the support of the universe, which is silly because we are the universe. You know, but we're working through all of this in order to massively shift our thinking. We have to understand that these are massive shifts. We've been doing little shifts, right? This is about going deep into that programming. And that's why these squeezing feelings are occurring, very dark feelings coming up to the surface so you can find them, right? We spend a lot of our lives running from these intense feelings and kind of setting them aside, compartmentalizing, compensating as a way to just kind of get through, right? But always that's waiting for us. It's like a dark pool of the unknown wanting to suck us in, you know, and that Venus transit in this T-square really kind of sucked us in. But in order so that we can find this programming, and, you know, when we do find this deepest, most subconscious, insidious programming, typically people are like, that is so not who I am, right? And yet it's in there informing your decisions and informing your mood and informing your path. And that's why we can't get on our path. That's why we don't know who we are, because this deep, insidious programming that is societal conditioning from past lives, that is operating out of delusion, energy of what this world really is and who we are. It's like the lies that we've been fed, and it's all breaking down, but in taking us to the depths. And this Pisces full moon is like, okay, here you are. We're going to illuminate all of what's keeping you in the past, so that you can decide whether you want to tackle it right now or not. But you might as well, because this teeing up of these T-squares is preparing us, clearly preparing us for to shoot off in new directions. But if we've got those insidious roots and vines of these delusions continuing to pull us back, and we're never going to get anywhere, right? So right now we're in this massive assimilating, adjusting time where we just cannot even get a handle on what's happened to us in this year and what this might be about and where we even go from here. And yet it's about to shift in a massive way as Saturn turns direct after this full moon. Then that Jupiter square Neptune comes into its third and final exact, bam, culmination of energies here, where we start to get a handle on what this whole year 2019 has been about. We've been talking about it as a preparation year for 2020. Saturn turned direct means it's going right back into a conjunction with Pluto. So when Saturn turns direct on the 18th of September, that is the beginning, official beginning of the 2020 astrology. And so we got to get our preparation stuff in order. We got to get ourselves handled. We got to get organized. And the Virgo energy is helping us do this, just methodically sorting through. You know, Virgo discriminates. It wants to separate out what's useful from what's not useful. And in a way, we can do that better when we don't have a judgment about what it is. And it's like, oh, okay. And kind of sorting through it in a more detached way that Virgo has the ability to do. Not getting wallowing in these feelings. When these feelings come up of low self-worth and vulnerabilities and stuff, it's like they're not coming up to pull us back into that energy. They're coming up to show us what's true and what's false. And we've got to kind of detach from it and be like, okay, yeah, this is a fact. This is a fact that, you know, there's this programming from my past that's keeping me repeating these patterns. And, you know, I'm just going to sort it out. What's true, what's not true. And it's almost like these files are coming up, right? In order to sort through the files and decide what we want to keep and what we want to let go, we have to bring out the files, right? So here we are. It's a very messy office right now, and a very messy psyche, because everything that's been suppressed has been dug up over this year. And now we got to sort through it and try not to get too attached to the process. So the message right now is about sitting back and observing and allowing the assimilation to occur, and know that one by one, these files, you know, where you may have been having a karmic purge earlier in the year, but you didn't have any tools or awareness to be able to sort through it, right? And so it came up and you just kind of were riding that wave. Now it's like, okay, I can step back and see the bigger picture and sort through and get rid of this insidious programming that's been holding me back. Where am I complicit? Where did I agree to these lies? And that's exactly what's going on the bigger picture of our world too. And when we can sort through our psyche and in our own conceptual reality, sort out the truth of who we are from the programming that we've received over lifetimes and at our whole Earth evolution, then we're actually cleaning up the psyche of the macrocosm too. So this is why it's so huge work. People are feeling massive amounts of collective energy and their soul groups and what they're going through. It's just big blooming times. And that is because all of it has to come to the surface to be sorted out. And this Pisces full moon is kind of that marker in time being like, okay, you can leave it for good now if you're ready. You know? And that's what we're being asked to do in order to be ready to shoot off into that new direction. And 2020 is about, you know, this Capricorn energy is about laws and rules and structure. It's also about and changing those things in our life, right? So maybe the laws and rules and structures we've lived by, we've been programmed with in the Piscean age. But it's also the Capricorn energy is about hard work paying off and just getting down to it, you know? So there's a lot of, I'll do a lot more, put some stuff out there here soon about the 2020 astrology because we're really moving into it now. But for those of us who have been waiting around for our purpose to land and figure out what we're doing here, 2020 is about getting down to work. So, you know, it's about to be revealed, the greater purpose of our personal incarnation. And but we got to sort through the rubble first and maybe go surrender into a feeling of confusion and lack of clarity as we stir up these old files that we need to sort through and decide what rings true and what needs to be left behind at this Pisces full moon. So really powerful culmination energies here. And I hope you can join me for the live activation. It's going to be happening on the 13th. This is exactly 12 hours before the actual time of the full moon. So we can just really get energetically in tune, in alignment, and make the most of these energies and receive the blessings and the support that's available to us when we come together in this intention. Now, your intention to join, if you can't make the live time, because this 12 hours before, it doesn't always line up in every time zone, and I know it's hard, but if you can't make the live activation, you can catch it whenever you can, and that energy is going to be encoded in the information that's going to be there for you is going to come through. So what we do is we get together, we talk through the energies, and some real good information can come through there with your intention to join. And then we'll do a guided meditation to kind of assimilate, harmonize, and receive healings, blessings, and support as we move into this incredibly powerful time on the planet that we're already in, right? You know, we've been here, but it's not going to get any less intense. So we might as well figure out how to come together and support each other and maybe tap into the excitement of getting to work on these projects together. So I look forward to seeing you on the activation or on the next update. Until then, I'm Adrienne Elise. Namaste.